I think she's based in Egypt. She is a painter of what I would only call like a fabric artist. When you look at some of her work in pastel, they look like bits of weaving, abstract weaving, and some stitch work and fabric work. You could sort of see, the sort of ideas of wouldn't this be fantastic as a piece of material, to cover your chair with, maybe? And she does really use a lot of bright colours, reds and golden colours, and this one's a little bit. I think she's just toned down a wee bit because it's probably come a long way. It's probably come all the way.
Well, there's a story. I will tell you the story about that, because that one arrived. It actually got. There's a lot of these ones. It had a USA address, so it went to Art Delivery Services. They sent it to the international portion, and she opened it, and she sent it framed, and the glass was entirely shattered.
Oh, that's a shame.
That's it. So we had our international framer take it apart, replace the glass. She saw that the painting was not damaged, so she did that. So, yeah.
Now that's the issues as an international artist myself. I send work over from Scotland all over the world, and you're in the hands of the couriers and the freight people. Anyway, so that's Hala Shafri. Lovely big piece. I've chosen my favourite painting so far. I'm only halfway round. I'm not going to tell you which one it is, because you've got your favourite paintings as well.
But we may ask you.
Yeah. And so I think we got sort of about this far yesterday when I won't say rain stopped play, but Pierre Yan and Richard stopped playing. So here we are. I think we're still in the Masters Circle division. We've got now Eleanor. I think she's based in Germany. I think so.
Yes, she is.
Eleanor Dagenhardt.
Yes, she's in Germany. Yes.
And she's been doing these wonderful, wonderful sort of ocean scenes, and a lot of the paintings are under the water as well, and people swimming and blowing bubbles under the water. But here's something above surface. And
this wall
is Masters.
And the only one you've already talked about is the very end, because we had to do some rearranging.
Okay. So here we go. Again, Masters. Now, the first painting that really jumps out at me, because I haven't had my lunch, is the donuts. And I'm thinking, my God, I could eat. Somebody's been eating my lunch already. Isn't that amazing? To see the frame, the box, the donuts, and even I'm not quite sure what WW is, but it's got to be, the place where she bought it from. But that's just leaping out at me, and I could certainly eat some of that now.
Yes, I had same vibe from it, definitely.
Judith Leeds, well done, Judith. That's really spectacular. This one, I love this little landscape here with the low light. You can imagine that late in the afternoon, that shadow being cast across there. A frosty afternoon.
Sorry, my interruption. Yes.
Yeah.
But they say what is WW is. It's a Weight Watchers.
Oh, Weight Watchers.
Yeah, because that's hilarious.
Oh,
now it's even.
Somebody's broken the rules there.
They only ate half the donuts.
Sorry?
They only ate half the donuts.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's a good sign. Yeah. This one was quite interesting, because it's not until you really study it. I mean, look at this guy. I think there's like a mountain biker there, giving a bit of human interest to this sort of mountain scene. That's quite nice. I like the way that little speck of blue shirt there, with the sunlight hitting the shoulders. It's a clever idea. That's a clever thing. And this Kate Burquest, Last Light. Well, again, just a lovely subtle lighting on there. Simple little landscape, but quite nice with that sort of sloping field, or that goes from corner to the middle of the. Can you imagine if it was sort of on a level? It might not look quite so captivating, but it works. The donuts, we know about the donuts. And then right next to the donuts, actually, to complement it, we've got Joe Clark here, look, green apples. It almost looks like a stained glass window from it to me. I'm not quite sure what you guys can see, but you know, I love those sort of patterns and colours and different values that make up that little painting. That looks like a Susan story to me. Yes, it is. Yes. Yeah. I think Susan has now painted every tree in the US at the moment. And quite like the way she's float mounted the work as well. That's very original. I think it's probably on watercolour. It could be on watercolour paper.
I was thinking it might be handmade paper.
Handmade paper? Could be. I'm not quite sure. Yeah. Perhaps need to read her bio, maybe, or go to her website to get all the information. This is a deer painting. I love the light in this one here. You know, I can feel the serenity coming out from that. It sort of reminds me of, you know, I live up in Scotland. This sort of reminds me of my dog walking country. You know, because we've got lots of rivers and lakes up there, and that's really got a lovely feel to it. And I like the idea of the square format. It seems to be coming back in fashion again. I love that.
And you've talked about that from yesterday. That was up there.
Oh, that I saw. That's Amanda. That was over there.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. And I don't think we've been in there.
No, this starts the open. All of this from now on, you're going to be
So
talking about open.
that was the Masters.
Right.
So I've chosen my favourite one as the Masters. So fun. I can't tell you that. I can't tell you that because I'm hoping that you've chosen one as well. So let's go in here. Sergei, we've watched him work. This guy, he's unbelievable, and this is something that something different for him. I've seen his beautiful big landscapes of Mont Saint Michel, I think, in France. He painted a fabulous piece, but this is really different. And if you take away the red blouse, it's all monochrome, isn't it? But and so that's really difficult. You've got to get the values, pitch the values just right for it all to work. And then look at that bit of heat there with the sweater. That works a treat. This is fun. A turtle. He's looking at us. I mean, they're really taking a good look at us. Tracy Morass. Green sea. What's it? Great sea green. Fun. That's a bit of fun. And here we've got looking into a rock pool. It must be ocean treasures. That's a clever little a composition, sort of a viewing, looking down into a rock pool. You can just about see the ripples, I think, of the water. Somebody sort of disturbed the water there. I mean, the patience of a saint, I think, to do all these stones. And this is another dear little painting by Susan Warner. I think that could be somebody from New Zealand. I'm not quite sure. We did have a Susan Warner down there. But I think this patch of light makes this painting, you know, it really makes it pop. So, you know, we've got, I guess, you know, we've got the light source up here. And it's just hitting the top of the sparkle on the water. And if you take the sparkle of the water out, the painting seems to drop a level, but by putting in that in the right place, you know, the artist has really lifted it up into another level. I think that's a great little painting. And look at the fish eyes. I can't even pronounce the name of the artist, Chai or Chi. And I'm going to stand there and say I can't say any more about his name, his or her name, but what an unusual subject. And fish's eyes, they actually look like, looks like a whole crowd of people down in going through Costco. You know. Come on, get out, we want to get to the fish counter. That's great fun. Oh, Martina, I think she came to one of my, she's based in Berlin as well. I think she's been studying these sort of water's edge and ocean scenes, and I think she spends an awful lot of time painting plein air. And you know, painting plein air is, as you all know, because you're all famous artists, is not an easy task. But she seems to be quite happy with those, and that's working quite well. As is the jellyfish there. I wouldn't like to be in the water with this guy, pink jelly. You've got to almost feel the steam, can't you? Well, that's fascinating.
Yeah, what is
I'm
that?
not quite sure what that little area is, but that's certainly grabbing my interest. Well, help me out, guys. What do you think? The constellation. It looks like
It's like a little
a sort of a nest or something that a spider or a small insect has made. But I don't know. What do you think, Dasha?
I see the figure.
Ah, okay.
I
You
see
see
the
what?
I see the figure, I see the silhouette, and I'm there to read the label, but composition works, so it makes a good painting for me. Thumbnail done.
Now, look at this very simple landscape. These little pebbles here are really important in the whole painting. Even standing back here, I'm focused on those little areas where it leads you all the way up to the horizon line. Simple but beautiful. As is the one next to it, which is Mary Hayter. Don't like goodbyes. Well, who doesn't like? Yeah.
Also interesting framing.
A nice simple landscape with, you know, those sort of warm colours. It's relaxing. I don't know if you guys can't see it. You need to come round here, I guess. So this is Lynn Howarth.
From Scotland. She's a Scottish.
She's based in.
She's a neighbor.
She is a neighbour of mine. Yes. Yes. And she's a really good portrait artist as well.
Yeah.
And here she can prove that paint a landscape and almost like a nocturnal scene. You know, with that, I guess that's the moon midnight in the garden. Well, it's got to be the moon coming out there. So well done, Lynn. Well, this sort of takes your breath away, really, doesn't it? The amount of work and the thought that's gone into this. That's definitely not a crowd going into Costco's. That's amazing. The art, I don't know which part of the world it is, but I love this. I love the way this has all been observed, and the faint sort of crisscross work of the archway there. That is just amazing. And all these people, I mean, I'm not going to count them, but there's a whole bunch of people in there. You know, that painting could be 3 or 4 times as big and still be impressive. But look at that, just to bring it down to that size and cram so much in, it's just unbelievable.
Javad, right?
There'll be another favourite coming up. Oh. Well, Polly, thank you, Polly, for bringing some colour into the world. Isn't that amazing? I do have a little bit of a problem with abstract painting because I can't quite read them, but I guess that's what abstract's all about. It should allow you to read whatever you think you can see, and I'm not quite sure what I can see at the moment. Steps maybe, or an elevator. Some sort of building, but it's a firm foundation, so that's a good start. But hey, we shouldn't talk about that matching frames as well. That works a treat.
like that.
That's quite clever as well. That's all adds to the artwork.
Hello, Javad.
Wow. I mean, monsoon, here we come. And Sean Del Joyce from Racing the Storm. Oh gosh, I didn't see this. Look at these.
2 of them. Yeah. Is that Florida?
Isn't that amazing?
Yes, she's from Florida.
Is that does that happen down in Florida? I've no idea.
We don't know.
Does it? Yeah. Wow. Well, I mean, and look at all this. I think this is all cloud formation. Look at that. And this rain. What is it when they call this rain that sort of gets halfway down and disappears?
Burka.
Thank you. There you go. That's what that reminds me of. Look at this delightful painting here of In Our Own Little World by Shuk Susan Lee. Well, that's really beautifully observed. That's almost, do you know, that reminds me of those gold leaf headings you see in ancient manuscripts. You know, isn't that fabulous?
Beautifully framed.
I'm sorry?
Beautifully framed.
It's unbelievable, yeah. Well, actually, that you're right. That little gold frame sets it off as well. Makes it almost like a classical look. Oh, I can't even pronounce the name, but Red Boat and Fire. That works for me.
It's Mid-America Pastel Society, not... yes.
Wow. Look. What have I found here? Night. This, I mean, it's so simple as a motif, but in my mind, that the really important little areas are those little patches of red. Can you see them just popping out? And that looks like a woodcut to me. Isn't that fabulous? I love all those sort of cool greys, and then a few hints of warmth there, and the track, a nice bit of perspective there. Linda, History it's called. Delightful. And an award of merit for Javid.
Javad.
Say it again.
Javad Suleimanpur.
There, thanks, Dasha. I was having no trouble there. That's right.
He's saying hi, he's watching us live.
Great portrait. Again, you know, I love the idea of the sort of lost edges around the edge of the portrait. Forces you back into the portrait all the time. A red sticker on there. I'm not surprised. What a great little painting. Bougainvillea. I can almost smell the fragrance coming off of that plant. As is the sunflower right next to it. Hey, those two go really well together, I must admit.
I thought so.
Sorry?
I thought so.
Yeah, they're fabulous. Whoever did you hang the exhibition? Well done. Well, it's a work of art as well, putting those two together, isn't it? That's really fabulous. And look, and then we finish off there with another statement with the two still lifes flanking Susan Porge. Okay, it happened at the World's Fair. Well, what happened at the World's Fair? For
Everything could happen.
Do you know, I'm going to have to keep going back to this. I thought this was a photograph. I keep going back.
Yeah.
You know, even that, you know, that sort of, what do they call it?
Bouquet. Bouquet.
You know, it's sort of faded at the back and blurred. Yeah. Depth of field, that's the word I was thinking of.
Right.
Yeah. Well done for that one. Still haven't got my favourite yet, I don't think.
Will you tell us?
Mind you, the Weight Watchers one was a
That's
bit
right.
tempting, wasn't it? And here we've got the healthy food. So we've got favourites, of course, it's the favourites. And I think we've all tasted these pieces at one stage in our lives, and I think you need to stand back on works like this to try and take it all in. I love this portrait here, by the way. And look at that amazing earpiece and jewel. My daughter's a jeweler, and I'm thinking, wow, that's an unusual piece of jewellery that's going on there. I love the way the face has been observed, the skin tones in there. And you know, obviously the light source is coming from here, but can you just see that how that eye has been painted there? It's just a hint of light, just picking up a little bit of the eyeball, and that's really quite clever. And I love these sort of soft edges here and the hard edges here. It's really, really important. So that's a great painting. Well done, Kath. Rare beauty. Well, I think that is a rare beauty. Red rocks. That must be...
From Canada.
What? Oh, yeah. Canyon ruins. Pastel art of Canada. Well, this reminds me of, I did a tour of Utah last year, or the year before last, and this sort of brings me back into sort of Monument Valley area. You know? And this looks like a bit of Scotland to me. But it's the pastel, the pastel gold. It is, look, Harris Crofts. So that's the Isle of Harris. And I can tell you now, you know, for those of you who haven't been to the Scottish Isles, it does look like that.
It does.
And the weather is pretty similar to that. If you do ever come up to Scotland and you go to the Western Isles certain times of the year, you need to bring a rain mat with you, or maybe an umbrella. Okay. Mango benediction. Well, again, do you know, that's got a real watercolour feel to it, hasn't it?
It does.
I keep looking at it thinking, wow, I used to paint in watercolours, so I'm a bit frightened to do it now, but this is sort of helping me to think, oh, we should do some more. Isn't that amazing? I'm not quite sure whether it's painted on white paper or whether it's on dark paper, and that is pastel. I daren't.
I met the artist
Really?
when I was going around a few times, and she said she was inspired by Degas, that left a lot of paper,
Yeah.
and that was,
Oh, that's what it is then.
Yeah.
Well, thank you
Yeah.
for the help.
yeah, I loved that. It was amazing.
I think
That's a great format as well.
Yes,
you know,
it
this
is.
sort of, I don't know. I call it a letterbox shape because back in the UK, mostly letterboxes are in the door. So that's this is a nice little bit of work. Christine Troyer. It's just called Imagine. Well, I can smell it. It's a rose. If you get close enough, you can smell the scent coming off that rose. Isn't that amazing? And the texture, you know, I'm sure you'll once I've moved away, you'll have a good look at some of these pieces. But the texture and some of the and I call it brushwork. You know, you paint with pastels, of course, and you draw with pencils. So the brushwork in that one is particularly well observed. Well, it's grandeur on a small scale, really, isn't it? But the skill of this artist, whoever the artist is, and it's Rebecca Copen. Anyway, Rebecca. I think yesterday I was talking about setting the stage like a theatre. Some paintings and compositions really get their best enjoyment out of looking like a theatre, where you've got a really strong foreground, which is basically where the orchestra is in a theatre, and the limelight and all that sort of stuff. So it's a really strong and solid foreground, and then you've got the middle of stage, centre stage, which is where all the stars are and the actors. And here we've got the centre stage, which is really grabbing our attention, which is this area here, of course. And then the backdrop, the backcloth, which is a very important thing to have. You know, so you've got those three stages, and by setting the values and the compositions correctly, you can see that the distance from, if we're walking or hiking, and we're going to go from there to there, it's quite a few miles to cover. And to do it on a flat piece of paper of 20 by 18 is really skillful. As is the next one here. Totally different feel to the and landscape. Totally different area, I guess. Peaceful sunlit pastures. Well, again, that could have been up in Scotland, but it basically says what it does on the tin, doesn't it? It shows you it's peaceful pastures. Quite like the cloud formation as well. That's again, that's quite interesting. Can you imagine if that was just a simple plain sky? It wouldn't have the impact. But by putting that sort of blustery day in, I think that works a real treat. Still life with pear. By Marvin Weidebaum. Pear Hug. I love the title as well. Almost like a classic still life setup, isn't it? You know, you can imagine that you go into into any national museum and you'll see some Renaissance work or some late Victorian work, classic still life setups, and this is a classic still life setup, isn't it? Look at the intricate work of the end of the doily. Is that a word? Mm-hmm. Can we use that word? Doily? Yeah. It's really, really fabulous. And again, very subtle changes. You see around here with that little shadow and that sort of soft light and that sort of hard edge around here. Very cleverly done. Wow. Well, let's start in the middle. Another still life with girl reading. And reflection. That's really clever. And in fact, everywhere you look, there's that sort of mirror image reflection. And that's Jose Caro, Quarantine. Well, we all know about that, don't we? You know, I guess there was a lot of paintings and a lot of compositions that came out like this in the last 3 years. Quarantine, I know I did quite a few. This is really nice. Strolling in Munich. I was going to say this is a very sort of cosmopolitan, European alfresco type. See, the figure, the main figure, that's quite amazing actually to have that main figure. We're focused on this person strolling here. I'm sure I know that girl. I recognise that. And the real important thing is this person here to balance it up. You know, if you take that out, can you see how it suddenly goes like that? But by putting this guy in, and he's looking, now, do I know her? He's saying the same as what? Do I know that girl? I think I do. That's fabulous, isn't it? What have we got here? Deborah, blooming in the shadow of the giants. They look like cherry blossoms to me. I lived in a little place where we were surrounded with these cherry blossom trees. They look beautiful until the blossoms fall off and they get everywhere. That's what that reminds me of. And Susanna has painted, it's called The Sun. Now, I love the idea of the hat. And that could be the sun, I don't know. Or is she protecting herself from the sun? I don't know. But again, the eyes on this portrait and the structure of the face, there's some really clever painters around here. Now, Anthony
Hedrick.
Thank you. Another sort of quarantine painting, I guess. You paint your daughter or whoever because you can't go out anywhere, and that's a really, a simple little subject matter, but beautifully painted. I like the way the hair comes down there, and that hand is beautifully painted as well.
That looks like a watercolor also.
It is, isn't it? Yes, it is. Yeah. Look at the waves. As a person who was brought up close to the ocean, I can really relate to this, because I can almost imagine myself running out into the waves, then the breakers, diving in and splashing around. Beautifully painted. I love it.
Kay Daney.
Kay Daney, look at that, the starfish. Doesn't that makes you smile, doesn't it? It's great. Well, I had a grandson like that who was picking up all sorts of stuff on the beach. The eyes are looking at you. Look at that. Mirrors of the Soul by Paddy Rios.
Quadruple self-portrait.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
Do you know the person?
I do. She's a member.
Ah.
I know many people, but I'm trying to.
Okay. So that's just that's quite
to be
interesting.
fair.
So that's a bit of a challenge. I guess you have to have a mirror there and just paint yourself, and then move the mirror, and then move. That's quite an amazing.
Yes, great angle right
piece, isn't
here.
it?
Yeah.
I think that one's the star of the show. Out of what do you guys think? Yeah, I think so. Well, look over there. There's the. We've got a few animals now. This would be nice. Well, look at the giraffes here. Lorraine Trenholm, Jerry and Gina. Oh, bless them. Well, she said she was fascinated. Her fascination with giraffes and their movements. Well, she's captured them really well. And look at the blue light that's catching on the tops of the giraffe there on the face. Who would have thought about putting that sort of pale, sort of blue violet on there?
Guys, and all work can be seen on IAPS Pastel.org
silhouetted reflection.
website in detail.
Moon shadows. Well done, Karen. And Pamela has painted Sophie. That's almost like a tribute to Sophie. Being a doggy person, I quite like that. Well, I got a dog at home. And look at this winter scene. Winter in the valley, yes. My work is a landscape painting. Well, that's all you need to say about it, isn't it? No, well, why not? And look at the colour of those. Is that aspens? Would you say
Sarah
they're aspens
Rose.
or cottonwood or what? Yeah.
Yes, cat is amazing, and Allain Eagle talked about
Do you know
the
that
portrait of a
big
cat
mountain?
earlier. Check it out here on this
As a
page.
backdrop, that's quite spectacular, actually. In that, somebody's chosen that small area of the landscape to paint, and it's really been put down and observed really cleverly. The composition's quite spectacular, and the reflections on this guy here, The Lazy River by Terry Tava. A winner. An award of merit for Barbara Berry. Snow, Cloaked Snow. Well, look at this, the snow. It's orange, it's yellow, it's blue. And there's just a little hint of white, but the backlit and the way the light is shining through in the back is quite clever. It's a great composition.
I'm lost. Where are we going? Where are we going?
We're going here.
Yeah, we're going here. No.
A cameraman is, or camera person is getting
Camera
confused.
cat.
Camera cat, yeah. This is interesting. When you hung these two paintings together, isn't it fascinating? I'm looking at this girl looking up, and this thing, and the pheasant or whoever, the waterfowl looking, thinking, well, what is she looking at? For goodness sake? Isn't that fabulous? That's clever. Look at the colours here we've got in this particular piece.
Female peacock.
They look quite violent, don't they? Look like if you get close, they're going to.
Are you an artist? On this one?
That's what it says. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
I love
Yes.
the way this has been observed and painted. That's spectacular.
And it's New Zealand.
And then
Is it New Zealand?
Yeah,
the
New
whole
Zealand.
painting is Girl in the Snow, Hassan Mate, whatever.
Javad will tell us how to pronounce it correctly. Pastel Society of Turkey.
But look at the texture on the hat. That is really, really quite amazing. Still got your favourites? Well,
Hard.
well, who knows?
Difficult.
Oh. Kathy Collis, Rocky Coastline. Do you know, I thought so, Cornish Coast. I lived down in Cornwall for about 7 years, and isn't it strange how you can relate straight away to the colours and the palette that people have used? And I can almost say I've probably walked along that cliff anyway. That's a nice sort of memory for me. Fred has painted After the Storm. Wow, look at the colours up here. It really is. That's just fabulous. Who would have thought of painting? Well, turquoise. I do paint turquoise skies. Who would have thought of painting those sort of colours up there in the winter scene? I think that's really, really fabulous here. Peggy Post, Tenacity. She's the textures and the values and the colours of these rocks are really cleverly painted. Quite soft and soft and what's the word I'm looking for? I won't say ethereal, but certainly soft and pleasing and quiet for that sort of rocky atmosphere. And that's a powerful still life. You know, with whether that's a tablecloth or whether it's blueberries, I'm not quite sure. But to see that sort of out of the frame still life setup, that's very clever. That's a really clever composition. Like that very much. As is this one here. Oh gosh. I thought it was a sparrow or something. Oh, it could be. It is. It's a bird sitting on the fence. It is a bird. You know, getting those values, I think that this is the important part of the whole painting here. This is really powerful. So you've got those two different values, and you know that deep shadow, and then you lead back out again into the meadow, and then of course onto the backdrop, and again a powerful foreground. Yeah.
Makes you laugh.
Sorry?
It makes you laugh.
Yeah. Again, you know, like the girls looking up in the snow. Is he looking up at the same thing? I'm not quite sure. But it does make you think, doesn't it? You know, this is, I must admit, this whole exhibition this year is actually lifting my spirits because of the fact that the more times that IAPS it takes place, and the more artists that come here and see what's being painted, and they go away, and 2 years later they come back with brand new compositions, brand new ideas, new colour schemes. People get, they get confident in their work, and that new people come along, of course. And this is the beauty of these sort of functions and expos. I think it's, look at this lovely portrait here, this guy with a hat.
Mary Beth.
That's very French Impressionist. As is that guy up there, which is, Carol says, poppies. Poppies. We've seen the ocean, we're getting our feet wet. Oh,
BF.
now this is interesting. B.F. Reid. Now, B.F. Reid. I did speak to B.F. Reid the other day and said, what does B.F. stand for? And she said, bold and fabulous.
And she is.
And I thought, well, and look what she's painted. And Carol Holding. Well, that's not, sorry, Carol Rogers Holding is the title of the painting.
We're shortening it, and full names and everything can be seen on iapspastel.org website.
And there's another wave painting, but totally different. I mean, we've seen, I don't know, 3 in this little bunch here, all different techniques, all different colours, all different sizes, but all giving that that lovely sort of atmosphere, fresh water. You know, we all need that now and again. We all need a bit of fresh water. And Wendy McClatchy has put fresh Caribbean spray.
It is
Says
fresh.
it all. Says it all.
That's right.
As do Sasha Nokchova,
Nachovka.
first place. Is that one of your Red Rocks people?
She is also,
There you go.
and she also representing Pastel Society of Russia, both. So
Well, it's got first place. It's got a red sticker. It's beautifully painted. It's unbelievably painted, actually. And again, with a very simple backdrop, the statement is made there. There's a lucky owner somewhere, I believe.
yes, Susan got it. Susan Weber.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, well. There's a lucky girl. Vasali, another one of your people?
He might be in the future, but
New Mexico,
New Mexico.
Oh,
Look,
really?
Albuquerque.
Again, it's, you know, photorealism here. This is what's happening, isn't it?
It is.
There are more and more real great painters around. And, you know, there are edges there, but they're still very soft. In fact, they're hard and soft all over the place. I think that's fabulous. Look at the way the shadows are there. And you can still see all the detail in the
Shadow.
bloom that's about to burst open. Yeah, it's just too much to take in at times. Well done. Now here's Donna Short. This is a real confident type of painting. Every mark has sort of been put in the right place. The colour is there. You know, it's a no-nonsense painting. I love the sky colours. I love the way the sky holes poke through. And as we get down to the horizon, you know, it goes from that lovely blue sky up there down into the backlit and the evening light, I guess, that's coming in, the falling sun. That's a great piece of work. That's a great tree study in my book. And there's another great tree study here. The Korean pine tree by Hai Yin Na, I think.
look at the cross-hatching right there. Details amazing.
You know, you do have to get up close and personal to some of these paintings.
Yes,
because
this
they are,
one.
you know, and it's a shame because we've only got an hour or so to walk around here and talk about all these wonderful pieces. But you really need a whole week, don't you, to take every single piece.
Yeah.
And so here we go over to this panel. We're almost at the end now. And I mean, obviously whoever the curator was, knows what to put right there as the centerpiece. And that is probably the biggest statement to be made in the last 3 years.
I think so, yes.
And as a person whose wife was in the medical profession, I can appreciate that this person has had a hell of a day, you know, and he's taken some time out, he's checking out on what's going on at home, and that is a tribute to the monumental task that I think all of our first responders have done. That's a powerful piece. And right next to it is, I think, I can't see the title or the artist, but I think it's Leonardo da Vinci. A closer look. But isn't that amazing? No, it's not Leonardo, but it's close on. That is just a stunning portrait. Again, it's like that silver point that's lost and found. That's amazing. So it's almost like we've got the modern and the Renaissance figure and the modern figure. Well done, curator, again. Now let's go. Let's go this way. I know this artist's work. I've seen it before. Toby Reed, yeah. painting waterfalls, well, it's not that easy, but this guy seems to, I think it's a guy, anyway, Toby, seems to have risen to the challenge. And I can hear the crashing water. I don't know whether you guys hear. I can hear the water just churning up and crashing. And that looks like a third place. Now, you really need to get up close and personal to that painting, because when you look at each of the buildings, they are obviously individual buildings, but every one is beautifully painted, and you can almost see that there's nothing there, and that fades. It's faded away on the edges and the peripherals, and you know, as a painter, as a landscape painter myself, when you're painting plein air, and you're focused on a particular object or subject, and you concentrate on what's in front of you, because what's on the peripherals is out of vision. So the only way to see it is you need to turn your head and move your eyes to see that. So it's very clever, and it shows artistic skill that the painter here, the author, has given that effect, that it's forcing you to look at the focal points that he or she was working on. And you have to turn your head or your eyes to see what's going on here. And you suddenly realise that all of this is out of focus. So, well done, judges, for putting that as number 3. Now, I had to get close to this one here because I've been doing some mixed media myself, and that looked very much like a mixed media, didn't it? A bit of gouache, a bit of oil, a bit of this, a bit of that, but it's all soft pastel. And I tell you, the bottom of the top right-hand side of the painting, this is with that 2 little hints of highlight, that green really works for me. And then the more you look at it, the more I see a pestle and mortar there, I believe. And then there's another little vase or vase, another little pot. And then, of course, the tablecloth or the napkin, which is, well, I don't know, it's a bust or something like that there. That's really clever, isn't it? A couple of little landscapes here. Deborah Breeden, a Kiwansi Lake. I don't know where that is, but I love this little area here. These reeds and these tall grasses and what have you. Again, a strong foreground, a good base to work from. Going back to, the focal points here, the middle distance and a nice backdrop. Quite nice. Nice, sort of, again, a nice cloud, interesting cloud and sky formation there. And this guy, Julia Fletcher, has painted Tangled Up. Well, there's a lot of work that's gone into this little painting here. A little 12 by 9 of, again, a tree portrait, but with a massive foliage, branches, twigs, and that lovely sort of hint of warmth in the sky coming through in the distance. Can you see that there? It's quite important, isn't it? These little patches of sort of dusty pink just shining through. We need to go that way, I guess.
These guys are talking about us.
Down this way. And we've got, well, here we go. Local gossip. Now, I wonder what they're talking about. They're probably saying, what are all these people doing looking at us? That's a bit of fun as well, isn't it? You see, there's another one here, a strong foreground again. That's really important. Even this tiny little, a 12 by 12. And the more, you've got to get up close and personal to these things. The more you get here and look at it, the amount of texture and work that's gone into that little painting, that person needs a pat on the back, without a doubt. And this is quite clever as well, with these, 2/3 of the whole painting are just the reflections, the muted reflections, and then the hard edge of the morning watch. Well, I guess, well, yes, I think that's a very industrial sort of looking fishing boat or something. I'm not quite sure. So really hard-edged, industrial, soft, sort of peaceful reflections. A mixture of two two qualities there. This is a nice little snow scene. Robert Burson, A Winter's Walk. Well, we've all done that, haven't we? Scrunching away in the snow. And that little guy up there is nice. Becky Johnson has painted this really fabulous little landscape of the evening in New Mexico. I mean, the backlighting across there, and the ray of sunshine or the evening light spreading out across the whole painting, and it's no more than a 6x9. That's a challenging task, and it's paid off. Really paid off. As is Mary Smith's Water and Weeds. Yes, Water and Weeds. Again, just a very simple subject. In a small 12x9, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, 12x9.
Vicky Rooney.
Vicky Rooney, Pears and Flowers. That's almost got a classical feel to it as well. Almost like an impressionist painting. You know, one of the impressionists. Somebody's come in here from the 150 years ago and quickly knocked out a French impressionist painting. Isn't it wonderful? That's Laura. Now, this girl from
Yes.
yeah, she's from the PSA. Her work is easily recognisable. She's a great figure painter, and that's one. That's a triumph as well. She paints on quite a large scale normally, but that works for me. As does Gary Rupp's Palm at Dawn. Interesting subject matters. You know, a simple palm tree, or half a palm tree, you've got a painting, you've got a lovely, delightful painting. Where's my camera person?
We haven't been here yet.
Wow. Now there's a rosette here, no wonder. I mean, you go wow without seeing the rosette. So what have we got here? A second place for Denali Brook. Her hardest hue to hold. Well, that's just oozing colour. I mean, from obviously the maple tree or whatever it is, the Japanese maple, or I don't think I've got one of those in my garden actually. Like the red tree, but look at the beautiful light that's coming down in the foreground there, coming down the slope and across the field. And the more you look at this painting, the more the power of colour and light hits you. Above the red tree, in the distant field, there's that hint of light just across there. And then, of course, you've got the light up in the source of light up in the sky. So you've got those areas of light all the way through. It's the whole painting. No wonder it's got a rosette on it.
Congratulations.
I'm going to put my thumb over the person with the red sweater and then suddenly get him to reveal himself. And that is a really powerful statement, isn't it? You know, that red with that sharp edge of that shadow. That's a great piece of. It's almost architectural.
Yeah.
It's really nice. Not a single paint mark to be seen, and it really is quite spectacular. Crisp, fresh, clean. And we've got 3 portraits here. Both of them. Well, let's look at the 2 on the side. This person here, Christopher, has done his self-portrait, thinking, why didn't I paint the girl with the got a rosette? Darn it, maybe next year. And then over here we've got Lisa, Rico, well done Lisa, thinking, yeah, you should have done it as well. But I've got great portraits. And so we come to Connie Riley.
And she's like,
with
I
the
did.
Award of Merit. And what a delightful little portrait. You know, the flesh tones are as fabulous, beautifully observed there, as it, and the you know the decoration in the hair. I love the little what do you call it? Yeah, you know, you do a bun or something like that, and you with those little beads up in the hair, just up there. Look at those little guys there. Oh, look, there's some more there.
Ponytail.
Fabulous. Well, Christopher, you should have done it.
Exactly.
Well, Brian, now I don't know Brian Cobble. Do you know, this reminds me a little bit of that Dean Mitchell again. It's coming out. You know that the watercolorist Dean Mitchell? Isn't that fabulous? Look at the color. I mean, I'm really drawn to this facade here. You know, the shadows and the pinks. It's just fabulous. And the closer you get to it, I can see all the cladding and look at that touches of light there. I love that shadow, and my God, you could spend ages in this property looking around. I mean, now which one are we going to buy? This house or that house? Or that one in the middle? Then you can have the best of both worlds. Isn't that fabulous? Wow, it's getting too much at times. Judy Richardson, the old bedroom. Well, does this? The curator's done it again. You see? The old bedroom. It could be that house back there, and we're looking out towards the street. Joe McGuinness. We've got Beach Chalice. Wow. The sand is just spectacular. I thought it was just a colour of paper, but it's not. You won't believe it. Every grain of sand has been painted.
And it works.
And it works. Look at that. And there's look like little bubbles, and wherever you look, it's just...
How did you say it? Angel's patience, or what does it take?
Patience of
Saint. Yes.
Job or whatever. I'm not. Now look, we've got another rosette. We've got some animals here. Well, we've got Chana Schneider, eye level, gets an award of merit for that. But what a clever little animal portrait. It's only half of one. Isn't it great? Because, and then I love the fact that the ear is poking out to take up the space that's not there. I know this artist, that's Barbara Archer, I thought it was, yes. Trixie. Looking at the, actually, do you know, I did stay with Barbara a few years ago and I did a workshop, and I met Trixie. And Trixie does look at all these suspicious things in the house, and she's thinking, now, what on earth is that down there? Yeah. Who put that sunflower there? But, and then we've got John Klashika, Waiting for Spring. And they are, you know, we've all seen these geese and ducks and things. They sort of bury their head in the fur this time of the year, you know, saying, oh, it's chilly around here. And this is, well, it's fruit, but I can't work out what all these lovely little spirals are. This is looking at all the ciders before choosing. Well, that's amazing. You know, that these artists are coming out with compositions now that we never have thought of a couple of years ago. It's great fun.
We had an extra year to think on them.
Is this a Christine swan? No, it's not.
Hold on. This is Eugenia.
Oh, this is Red Rocks.
No.
Oh, it's not. But what a great. I wonder where's the rosette gone to this one. But isn't this a fabulous piece of work?
Not yet, I should
Look
have
at,
said.
I mean, we obviously start around here, or I do, you know, looking at the earbuds, and then we work our way to this portrait of this really, really attractive girl, where you've got these lost and found edges again. That's a great work of art. That's a fabulous painting, actually. Still got your favourites yet? There's another one here. Look at this, Virginia. Unsold, abandoned. Yes. I love the style. I love the brush marks. I love the technique. I love these sort of very loose brush marks. Look at that very simple window in the shadow there in the shade, just with the sash. Very important marks, you know. Economy of strokes, but all in the right place, all telling the right story, all at the right value. Dark against light, very important. Well, it is for me anyway, as is Heidi Marshall. This fabulous Santa Fe light. I mean, that looks like a palette knife work, doesn't it? You know, with that nice lemon yellow that's just been placed on there. Probably the last mark that's gone on there. And these subtle little pinks in the sky. Yummy. That's really quite yummy.
Do you like his poetry of just
You do. And have a look on this too.
Excuse me. I thought this was another Hala Shafri at first.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
Yeah, because remember the Hala Shafri, the girl from Egypt where the frame was broken and the glass, and Hala would use these sort of colours as well in some of her work. And this is by LaDonna Kruger. I think she's up the Pacific Northwest.
Yes,
Yes, the
Northwest.
Northwest. Yeah. Yes, and that's a fascinating piece of pastel work. All the colours. It's called Spring Fever, and I think she lives up near Washington State, near Dakota Arts, or near Mount Vernon. That because it's tulip fields up there, I believe. That's all bursts of colour. So that's probably where she gets her inspiration from, is the colour that in the tulip fields. Shirley Anderson, Hearts Aflame. Well, look at that. This looks like marbling. Is that yours? I do beg your pardon. Well, we've got our favourites now, haven't we? But it looks like marbling. It looks like you've marbled some of the paper. That's just amazing. Look, I first of all, that was the first area that I looked at up here. You know, and all this lovely texture. And then the more you look at it, the more, oh look, there's some more of it along here. It's almost like, please, can you do a bigger one next time? As is Mark Price. Look at this composition. It's afternoon reflections. But isn't that wonderful? Now we stand back and it all falls into place and makes sense. All three, the curator's done it again. All three now complement and enhance each other. I'm going to start here. I think we have to start here. Sorry, Dasha. I think we have to start here with Best in Show. Well, takes your breath away, doesn't it? I mean, where do you start? David Keyes. Well, where do I start? There. The candle has just been blown out, and that little whisk of smoke from the candle. That's just. And then we can start reading, and then, okay, I come down to the candlestick, and I see the brass candlestick with the little touches of highlight. And then where do you go from here? Well, we've got a plethora of flowers and blooms. Again, yeah, I can smell the fragrance. And then this huge, big sort of oriental platter or urn behind, and then another brass object here, and then another one here with a gold rim, a bit of Wedgwood maybe, who knows, and then a piece of fruit, and then to top it all we've got a candle now lighting the whole. No wonder it says Best in Show.
Congratulations,
Dear. three little areas of landscape, just small portions of the landscape. Monet's water lilies. Mr. Monet's been here again and created these wonderful, wonderful watery and impressionistic pieces. Looking Deeper by Pamela Cook. Well, that's a really competent and confident piece of work, as is Davina Wang from New Zealand, Gaze it's called. Having lived down in there, I have gazed in some of these sort of thermal pools. There's quite a lot of them down there in New Zealand, and that's definitely what you see. And here we've got Ginny Burdock, windswept passages. I love the little dots of plants and flowers everywhere. You know, that leads the eye all the way back to this bank of trees and a really very simple rendering of the sky. It's not white, it's not blue, it's not yellow, but you've got to get really close and see there's some subtle colours and tones in there. Fabulous. As is Kim Eshelman's Stormy Impression. Well, when I look at the foreground here and I start at the horizon line and work my way up all the way through there, that's a really dramatic silhouette. I've seen plenty of skies like that. I'm sure we all have. You know, wait until a crack of thunder or something's going to happen there. That's quite amazing. And this is well done, curator, again. You know, we've got the stormy, dramatic sky, and then here we've got this sort of red sky morning. It's very sort of peaceful. You get up before breakfast, you take the dog out for a run, and you do get that feeling of those sort of days there. As this person, Becky Nidefer, I can't pronounce the name, sorry about that, Becky, Gates Pass. I think this could be Arizona because of the... Is that yours, Becky? Is it? I'm sorry, I didn't pronounce your surname.
That's right,
Okay, but it looks like it is Arizona, isn't it?
It's Gates Pass.
I thought so, yeah. But I love the way you've got the transition from the Swarrows here to that, you know, that all this in shade and sort of in semi-shade. Then you go back to that mountain, which is, you've pushed it back by making it sort of, you know, those cool colours, and then just that very simple plain sky. It had to be plain. So if you would have put texture in that sky, it would have killed what was going on here. Bingo.
And Becky helped me curate this.
Oh, well done.
Yes.
Well done. This is a really nice composition and observation of these horses. I know Deborah. She does a lot of horse riding, and it shows. You know, she's passionate about. She's up in the northwest, I think, as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's passionate about her landscape and her area, and her passion for horses. And it just shows in there. Did we look at this one? We did not look at this one. Did we?
Like almost
Mary Druitt, Lazy Days of Summer.
It feels like summer.
Oh, look, that's really nice touch there. There is the building there. Look, and then the boathouse. I guess this is like a boathouse. Could be. Is that yours?
Yeah.
Oh, it is yours.
Yes, it is.
Oh gosh. So this is the boathouse.
It's not a boathouse, it's just an old
It's not a
piece.
dock or anything. Okay.
It's just an old piece of the barn.
Well, it is a boathouse for me. That's what I say.
It's a boathouse.
But that's really nice. And yeah, because I can almost imagine that you keep your little boat in there. But well done.
Or something. I don't know why you're telling me to do that.
But
I
and the
know,
building,
they
is this
want to
your
come
place? Is this
closer.
your house?
No, it's
Okay.
near where I used to
Okay.
live.
I love the idea that
It's a
just
barn.
sneaking behind there is the barn. You could just about see it. But look at all this here. This
So
is
if you
the-
come to
this
IAPS,
is
you
the
can
start
get
of the
critique
show,
from
isn't
the
it?
master in person and a hug.
Thank you.
That's a nice format as well. You know, 12 by almost 13 by 20-ish, something like that.
Impulsive.
Well done, anyway. Linda Wells, Winter Reflections. Oh,
Linda,
look, it's like
Come here.
Holy moly, that's difficult to paint, isn't it? All that,
And
all those different levels of the water, the movement of the water, the still water, the reflections, the twisted tree. I painted the twisted tree the other day, and isn't that fabulous? You know, just to have those two trees that go out at an angle. Well done, Linda Wells. As is.
come on, Linda.
Linda, is that yours, Linda? Well done, Linda. I love that. I'd say the different levels of the water and the different bits of movement in the water. It's difficult to do, isn't it? Difficult to, because everything's moving except, of course, we've got that nice still water. I can imagine that it slowly just comes along it and then falls over and then it churns up. Allain Tarpey, impulse contained. Now that is a real powerful statement,
I know.
isn't it?
Yes.
With very simple lines, a very, very simple and abstract composition. It's almost like belongs in the Met. Almost. You know what I'm saying? It reminds me of those. I mean, I don't know. I just love the very simple lines and these very simple mark makings. It's a massive statement. Impulse contained. Fabulous.
It's like
And Kelly.
Kelly Lucas.
Kelly DeLucas, yeah. Where is she? Is she there? No, she's not there. Modern medical pinball. Very for the space age, isn't it? It's very space age. I can stand back and take it all in. But you guys who hung the exhibition certainly know how to place the artwork so that every single piece of artwork can sing and tell its own story without being interfered by others. Wow. That's all I'm going to say is wow at the moment. I don't know where to start because we've got Joe Baker's another time.
The Joe Baker.
That's the Joe Baker.
The Joe Baker.
Yeah. You know,
Everybody
That's
who
just-
watching knows Joe Baker.
that's Joe Baker. There's nothing else to say apart from that's
But-
Joe Baker. There's another wow. Susan, are you here? Are you the artist? No. Susan Mayfield, rice fields in May. The sky, the rendering of the sky is absolutely spectacular. All those clouds, the colours. I wish I could go to that artist's pastel box and pinch a few colours. I'd love to have a few of those colours in my box. That's fabulous, isn't it? And just those reflections in the water. I mean, let's stand back and take it all in. It's just stunning. And that piece in the corner there by Anne Sanders, River Sunset, is actually, it's very peaceful, and it's almost like those sort of paintings. It gives the impression that that's the sort of place you go for a walk to get away from the world. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just so restful, and I love the composition. Well, the Z or Z or Z, whatever you guys call it. I call it the Z composition. Where you can just see the river, the creek, the way it meanders around there, and the different aspects going back to the distant hills, and then to that beautiful rendering of the sky.
One
Now
more.
there's one more painting I haven't mentioned yet, and it's that one. And this, actually, Mandy Ellard, Farm Meets the Fall, is my favourite. Because everything about that painting tells me that that artist is an extremely competent, talented artist who sees their surroundings and honestly paints what she sees. I think it was Mandy. So Mandy, Allard, farm meets fall. I could live and stay with that for a long, long time. So, Rafa, man.
Thank you, Tony.
So guys, there is one more painting, which is Colette's painting, and I don't think we've actually spoken about that one. Although last night she did speak about it herself. But if you weren't here, let's quickly have a quick look at what this dear lady has produced. Again, Colette, rocks. Basically, I think it's rocks that she spotted, and rocks and water. And I can relate to this because I've been going through my rocks and water phase in the last month or two. And so this is, this is a classic Colette Odia Smith image and composition and colours. So, and again, I love the square format. I think we'll have to start painting square formats from now on.
It works.
It works. So listen, guys, I know it's been a bit of a rush. I hope that we know together we've enjoyed seeing what's been produced here.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I just think
Guys, and everything
I
can
saw
be
the artists
found at
not
IAPS
only put
Pastel
themselves on display, but
website.
managed to get them.
Oh, thank you, IAPS. Thank you,
So that we
Shirley.
can enjoy
Thank you,
it.
Becky.
And
Yes.
IAPS
Yes.
2022, after a 3-year delay, of course, has triumphed again. And I can't wait for 2024 to see what's going to happen in this particular room in 2 years' time. And you're going to say, well, you can't beat this, can you? But every 2 years, it happens. So, get your paints out.
Thank you. Yay! Guys, we're gonna save it.
Okay,
Thank
go on,
you.
enjoy yourself.
Thank you.